right, sports fans, today we're talking about a topic that certainly saddens my heart. We had a really big victory in 2016 when our great Governor Dennis Daugaard decided to veto a discriminatory measure that was passed by the legislature in 2016. Now that measure was a transgender bathroom bill that was more discriminatory than any measure I've seen come through this state in a long, long time. You ultimately look at what it was going to do, and it was going to segregate those that are transgender students from using the bathroom that they identify with. And if you go across this country and you look at the states that have been very accepting on this topic, you don't have a rash of situations that people are certainly scared of when you start to talk about a transgender bathroom bill. And it's very unfortunate that some people find themselves lashing out amid a time of uncertainty and not knowing enough about the topic. And in the state of South Dakota, like I said, that discriminatory measure was passed through the legislature and eventually vetoed. What that did was it allowed us to continue to go out and try to attract NCAA events, try to attract the biggest events to come, whether it's to the Premier Center here in Sioux Falls, to other events throughout the state, or other event centers throughout the state, including out in Rapid City. And now, if this does come to fruition, now in 2017, they're going to try to get enough signatures to get it on the ballot. And if they do get it on the ballot, then it'll be voted upon in 2018. And my opinion is very simple. I think it's so unfortunate that people can't be accepting of all. And I'm not saying today that this measure is going to be passed, but it certainly scares me that it's even being brought up again. My kid's almost 2 years old, and I don't know if he's going to be gay. I don't know if he's a transgender kid. He's too young at this point for us to know. But all I know is my heart is open to whatever he's going to be, and that's what I'd instruct everyone else to do when we're talking about kids and youth throughout this state. Now, you go to the NCAA events specifically, and bottom line, whether you agree with me or not, this will happen. Okay, this is going to happen if this measure is eventually voted through in 2018. We will lose all NCAA events, just like North Carolina did. Eventually, we will not have the opportunity to even bid on those. That's what happened in North Carolina. Until they change their discriminatory measure, they will not have the ability to have those NCAA championship events. And we've worked so hard in this state to get those. So many people have put so many hours into getting those events, and it's been so awesome for the state economically, talking about just credibility and overall exposure. Now, not only will you lose the NCAA events, the NBA took their All-Star game out of Charlotte and moved it to New Orleans. And you also saw musical acts decide not to do their concerts in North Carolina because they deemed the measure, the transgender bathroom bill, to be discriminatory as well. It is a fact. You will lose these things. And corporate companies are going to be forced to move on to South Dakota because they employ transgender individuals and they don't want to be discriminatory themselves. It's plain and simple. Like I said, you can agree with me or you can disagree with me. But the fact of the matter is, these things will happen if this discriminatory bill ultimately gets on the ballot and is passed. So they don't need the signatures. They don't need to vote on it. What needs to happen is this discriminatory measure needs to go away, and we need to continue to open up our hearts and minds here in the state of South Dakota.